Yeah. See.
Next week?
Yeah.
Monday night. יום טוב יוצא. יום טוב. Steak and sushi.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. The new thing is unbelievable. What's unbelievable? You? What's unbelievable? Morning. Wow. You get through all this?
I can't read the soul.
Oh, so give it over to the family.
Thank you.
You like the beach. You know, you like the Moshe, good morning.
Oh, stand for
That show. Right. Very good. Tammuz.
what
I signed the last one?
I got one. I can think of worse that's not ever. Some fun. And it's come.
Good wood, you go.
Chicken. Right? I say it correctly.
All right.
Also,
You cover it?
Did you get it?
But yeah, I'll see.
We're trying to think and give you this where the rest of the biggest. Where the big one? Down there. Oh, they're in there. This one's called there.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see why.
Sure. Yeah, the shark line. Sorry, I thought I didn't have a better than a zany.
No.
Morning. Oh, we're starting exactly on the moment. 10:15. Hayom Kotzer v'Malachim Aruba. We got a lot to do, so we have to use every moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of laundry to be done today. So, they say that Iran is leaning towards symbolism. That means that what they're saying, experts are saying, is that even that they want to, if they want to attack Rahman al-Islam, they want to do dafka on Tisha B'Av. They want to do dafka on Tisha B'Av, and the cheshbon is that there was mediators that tried to talk to Iran. So the Ayatollah gesagt, verstehen, you got to understand me. I'm under immense pressure to show like a Magavre Rabba. I'm going to lose. I'm not going to be a Rosh Yeshiva anymore if I don't give, if I don't make another show. So you have to understand. So the thing is like this, like with Haman, it says Lo Yoda. He didn't know. What didn't he know? There was something he didn't know. Something he knew, something he didn't know. So Taka, these Rishonim, they know that Tisha B'Av, they know but there's something they don't know.
There's going to be a mowing.
Oh, they don't know that these days are going to become Sosam V'Simcha Moedim Tovim. And so they don't know that. They're fools. They don't know that. They don't realize that these days are going to be the most powerful days. Chassidus says, that there's something special and avodas Hashem that's in Bein Goltza Yehuda. That Tzemach Tzedek says that there'll be the Gili of Bechinas Yehuda. Yehuda is the idea of a Yid that's moided to the Eibishter. If you learned that Yom today, it talks about Mashiach, that could even said that he doesn't care to talk to Anoshim Pshutim. So Goltza Yehuda will be the Gili of the level of a Yid, which is Bechinas Yehuda. It'll be Goltza Yehuda. It'll be a Gili of Bechinas Yehuda. And then it'll be Kollel Sigua Ben Metzorim. That where Yid is going to be Masig Avodas Hashem, Dafken Ben Metzorim. Why? Because Metzorim, when a Yid thinks, when a Yid feels it's a Meitza and he calls out to the Eibishter, there's a Merchav. When a Yid realizes that this whole world is one big Meitza and the godly light in this world is nothing. It's a Tipa Meyamuk Yonos. It's nothing. This whole world is a nothingness. The whole Chayis Elokim in this world is a nothingness. I want to be connected to the truth. I want to be connected to the Eibishter. I'm in the Meitz and I want to get out to the Merchel. So that the Eibishter is Mazaka that he should go out to the Merchel. The Rebbe says, if you notice something interesting, the Pashas Matas Mas and also Dvorim is always in the Bein HaMetzorim. And Ashi, when it talks about Gvulas Eretz Yisrael, it says Meitzorim. Why? Because it's at Emes, and now is the time of Bein HaMetzorim. Gvul is a negative. It's Veloshim Gvul. But from Metzorim, from Bein HaMetzorim, we get to the bleak Gvul of the Eibishter. So L'chaim, that definitely the Ayatollahs are making a big mistake. They're starting up with the wrong people. And just like Haman in his day, huh? Yeah, good mistake. They're just like Haman in his time was Nahapachu and Metz Hashem. Now also, Minametza Korosiyo, Eden call out to the Eibishter, Minametza, and the Eibishter will make Metz Hashem Nisim Nifloim that the whole world will see, and will take us Minametza al America. Someone asked me a question last week. Comes Shabbos, and he has a problem. He said that what happened. He lives in an apartment building, and he thinks accidentally his wife maybe turned off the fire under the blech before this mention. Doesn't know who, what, but bottom line is after the mention, they saw that the fire is off. The fire is off under and they had his wife prepared a nice chulent for Shabbos. So he went to the neighbor in the building. There's a native Chatzedis in the building, and he asked the neighbor if he could put the pot on his blech. So the neighbor said, "Sure, no problem."
During the 18 minutes or after?
After. So the neighbor,
no,
he asked his neighbor, "Can I please put my pot of chulent on your?" He said, "No problem. You can put the chulent." Now he's coming Shabbos. He's coming to shul, and he says it's eingefallen in Kob. Maybe he did the wrong thing. Was he allowed to ask the neighbor? He's not allowed to ask the neighbor. Now, if he did the wrong thing, is he allowed to eat the cholent? Is he not? The bottom line, Rabbi, can he eat the cholent? That was the shayla. Not Pilpulim. He just wanted to know, can I go home and eat the cholent or not?
I would say yes, because you have to sleep. You had in mind to have to think they would get the assistance.
I had in mind to be put on the blech. Okay, here. What's your name? Okay, pass over the. So Nemesis, I told him it's fine. He could eat it, but there is a little bit of a the problem here is that there was on this last year in the summer there was a similar shaila that someone had on Shabbos Friday night the circuit breakers went or something went, so they called a guy to fix it. It was, they wouldn't have had air conditioning. It was a situation they were allowed to call the guy. They would have no electricity in the house, and it was 95 degrees. It was mutter to call a guy. It was in that rare case. It was legit kosher to ask a guy to come in and do the work. The question was, but the fire was the fire was out because the electricity went out. Fire went out, and not all. Some fires are. It was like the elements.
That's how it is getting gas.
Right. So exactly. So that's
all right, but thank goodness. What is the bedroom? Only gas over there.
In the mountains, there are a lot of times that the electricity goes out because it's stored somewhere, then it comes back on.
right.
You had a crack pipe.
Right. Exactly. So that shaila. Exactly. That's the same thing would be. Yeah. Exactly. That shaila would be. So let's read it quickly in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Also, B'Shulchan Aruch Rabbeinu Siman Rishon Gimel Sif Yudalet Kiddush Yisakol B'Kash K'Vav Afil B'Gefes of Eitz Melech Yigru Fatuma V'Not Lagdei Melebim V'Yom P'Shachasher Kabal Achzer Allah. There was a blech. Elamai, he took off the pot. Now he wants to bring back the pot and put it back on the blech. Moide b'yodai shelo yisirim yodik shenot l'mal gabek kida chad shaloi tzalach zira v'loi penim mena tav shalok deira chelas tzaloi tzalach zira shiboi segdeira shehoi salak kida mutal alahach ze b'Shabbos im betchiluk shenot l'ak deira malak kida hoya b'daitech shazenen achkach. Three conditions. He had in mind he's going to put it back. It's in his hand and it's in the same pot. Three milas. Yeah, three conditions. So nimtz shalibot ladayin shir rishona shehi shoyis sham alakidim bebayim kiven shebishos selukim akidim daita lokre memena lagamre elachzira lo. So it's as if that the shehi rishona was loibotla. Aval in betchilik shenot lo yoydaita lachzira lo. If chatchilik took it off, he never had a mind to be marzer. V'chein mesir be other pamachas. If you're out, you could be out in one of three things. Or pina l'kdei acheret. For botla lo shehia rishayna. Ksheretz lachzira. Areze kemoishiva v'Shabbos betchila. It's as if in Shabbos you're going and you're putting a pot on the fire. What's the problem of putting a pot on the fire of Shabbos? V'chachamim lo yitiru ela chazor. Avaloy lo hoishev kedei betchila b'Shabbos alakir. Afal pishu b'inyan sheim ba mishum yisur bishu kergon sheim mevushelas kevar kol tzorka sheim bishu lachar bishu. Even if there's no bishul issue, the thing is piping hot, and there's no bishul lachar bishu, doesn't matter. You're not allowed to put it back because it looks like you're putting you're cooking a Shabbos. It is a needed kemevashel lechatchila b'Shabbos. That's the takonos chacham. They said if you're going to put it even on a gdeir that's even on a tana group of tumah, there's a blech, but you're putting it lechatchila dir Shabbos, even though there's no issue bishul b'Shabbos. But there's a gzeiris chachamim that it's needed kemevashel lechatchila b'Shabbos. If you had in mind to put it back, you don't have to put it back to the original oven. You can put it even to a different oven. Even though the second oven is hotter than the first oven, again, because we're talking about a case where there's no bisa bishul, the thing is fully cooked. Even if it's there's a blech, you're not allowed to put it on the fire. On Shabbos, you're only allowed to return it chazara. So this is chazara. So what are you? So we don't care if it's the first kid or the second kid. Now let's skip to the next to Sifu test, which is the next paragraph. The minig is afilu laharze toich tanurim shalom. Somebody Rishonim said that when the Gemara said you're allowed to be machzir, you're allowed to return, it's on top of the fire, not into the oven. There's a minig to be made in the oven. Shedina kamoit and ketoich akira umachzinim gam lach sheisera kedenim yod v'nichol gabe kak shosh amarba v'gam lo yedayta betchil lachzira v'afilu pina tafshlik der acheres al chizroinus. He never had in mind to put it back. He put it al gabe karka. He put it in a separate pot. All three. He's out. Strike one, strike two, strike three, and they're makel. They ain't limchus biyodem. L'pishiyesh ha'im nimshloit tzerech chacham shiyadayta lachzira v'ed biyodei. Elekshonot lamakira miboid yoim. Ubo lachzira b'Shabbos. Shozem lo yoyadayta lachzira shekvar yisirim yodei erezek meshiva b'Shabbos lachatchila. Kivin shebetchilas knisas Shabbos lo yoshem klal lakira. Elekshonot lamakira meshechashecha. Kivin shebetchila knisas Shabbos oyet avshel zeh lakira. Ein anida kemeshiva b'Shabbos betchila. Afim lo yoyadayta lachzira. V'gam kvar heisim yodepin lakteir acheres. V'lchem muter lachzira. Musik bekashik vo ve oy shigruf ektum va tafshn bashal kotzorke velen it's done lagamri vel ze semkhim oyn lo hakol yosef leimer shaf ma shos kham lag ze letoykh lo yosef kshnot lo menem boydyoy ve yod ad lach shekha kom makem kol adam yesh lo hachmel atzma shel lo hag ze letoykh akide va tanur afshnot lo mishem lach. If you want to put it back in the oven, you should be machmir never to put it back in the oven, even if you took it mechashekha. Ava pishe daita lachzira v'yoyda b'yodei. L'pishein tay masvik l'chalak b'not l'mashachshecha motlam b'yoyim l'inyan l'hachzara l'toifa. Av l'inyan l'hachzira al-gabi kidei. Oya b'daita lachzira shekvarisira m'yodei shepinu l'kdei acheres toiv l'hachmir. It's good to be machmir l'sheraba ha'im m'shaflin yazayin chiluk b'not l'b'yoyim l'not l'mashachshecha. But you could be making. So again, so what's this big kula of the minig olam? The minig olam is saying the main point of the minig olam is when the Gemara said that in order to be machzer b'Shabbos, you need certain conditions. That's only talking about a case of a person that took off the pot from the fire mib oid yoim, like before Lech mentioned, and now 25 minutes later he wants to put it back. So over there we say it has to be daite lachzida number one. has to be very the biyadi number 2, and has to be in the same pot number 3. And if you even one strike, you're out. But if it's on Shabbos, there's no problem, as long as there's no Isur Bishul. That's the Alter Rebbe says lechatchila, a person should be machmir. And even on Shabbos, if he took it off the blech, he should only return the pot to the blech if it has all 3 conditions. A, it's still in the same pot. B, that he had in mind to return it. And C, his hand is still on it. But not to put, that's on the blech, but not in the oven.
Rabbi, in the pot has liquid. We'll have to do that too. It's liquid in the pot. It's not solid.
Yeah.
But
We're talking about this piping hot.
What do you mean by mincha?
That's Shulchan Aruch, the minhag that's brought in Shulchan Aruch.
Oh, the minhag is brought.
Yeah.
Not what the world said.
Yeah.
What's the nature of putting it on the stove or putting it in the oven?
So again, let's clarify. The Gemara says there has the Chazorah b'Shabbos has certain conditions. So why? Because you're not allowed to put lechatchila pot on the fire, even there's a blech on Shabbos, even though it's not considered cooking, because it's piping hot and it's fully cooked. So it's piping hot and fully cooked. So what's the problem? Still, Chazal said it looks like you're cooking your Shabbos. You're not allowed to do putting a pot. You're not allowed to do shira. You're allowed to do chazorah. When you do chazorah, there's 3 conditions. So the minhag said these 3 conditions is only if you took the pot off before the mention. 25 minutes later, you want to put it back. So we need A, B, and C. You need that the pot is still in your hand. It's in the same pot, and you had a mind to return it. But on Shabbos itself, doesn't matter. If you took it off, you could put it back. The Alter Rebbe says we should be machmir. And if you want to put it back on top of the stove, on top of the blech, you should have all 3 conditions.
What do you mean in your hand?
The hand is on the pot.
Obviously, if you took it off, you took it off your hands and you're putting it back with your hands. What does it mean?
That the whole time was on the counter, your hand was on the pot. Okay.
And you were saying about but in the oven.
Not to return it.
And what's the difference if it's on the stove or in the oven with what we're just laying out?
Why? Because toichat tanur it sounds in the Gemara is more chumradik. So therefore,
so it looks more like cooking if it's in the oven and on top of the stove. That's the point.
He didn't say. It's more chumradik.
Okay.
We're skipping one more time, and this is the next paragraph. If a person was not allowed to be machzir, and he did do it, if it was also lahachzir, but everyone says it's also lahachzir. If a person put back a pot on the blech on Shabbos, so it's also until Matzah Shabbos b'chdei sheyaseh. I don't want to miss stomach v'yofalot. If the fact that it stayed in the fire is bad, then it's mutter by afilu bayim. Shaloi nenem ani yusuf. Yesh mistapka afilu mitzamik v'yofaloi. Im yesh lesa klal b'di'evid. Im yishagig b'davim. Ach shoy im avushel kvar kol tzarka. Yesh lismach az alahatel achedim. Shaloi huchze b'shvila. B'chomakim l'bnei beisay. Ein lahater. Shigam b'shvila muchze. Bottom line, chulent is the mitzamik v'yofaloi. That's the nature of a chulent, especially on a Friday night. It's good. It stays. The longer it stays, the better it gets. So it's metzamik v'yofaloi. Therefore, even those that are makel are saying only for other people that are not from this family, that it wasn't put on the fire for them. For this family, it's asur to eat it on Shabbos, and they have to wait to Matzah Shabbos b'chdei sheyaseh, how long as it would take to cook a chulent. Anyway, once we get to Matzah Shabbos, no one wants to eat chulent anyway.
So now that we've learned this whole Shulchan Aruch Harav,
let's summarize and then we can ask 1 second. So, bottom line, the Alter Rebbe says if you're not allowed to do chazorah and you did chazorah, so if it's mitzamek v'yofaloi with most chulents on Friday night on fire, it's mitzamek v'yofaloi. So you're not allowed to eat it until Matzah Shabbos b'chdei sheyaseh. So in the case of, for example, in the bungalow, that the power went off Friday night for 2 hours, and then boom, all of a sudden the power came back. So over here, it's very easy to be made for 2 reasons. 2 reasons. You could ask when the Gemara said that you're not allowed to do chazorah unless there's certain conditions. Is it a chiyuv or a shlila? It's like the shaila is when the power went off in the bungalow colony, I didn't take the pot off. When we need the conditions, could be because I took the pot off, so I need 3 conditions to show that I really didn't take it off. Because I had in mind to put it back, it's in the same pot and it's still in my hand. But if I didn't do anything, the winds came and the bungalow colony lost electricity. 2 hours later, they get back. Who says I need to have the Tenoya Chazor? Could be over there. Chazal never required there should be Tenoya Chazor. So that's number one.
Does it have a Bavela?
So it could be over there. I don't need Tenoya Chazor. I need the whole when the Gemara says I need Tenoya Chazor because I took the pot off. So I physically took the pot off. So I took it off and finished the butler Shina. I'm putting it back again. So no. Because my hand is still in the pot, and because I had in mind to return it, and because it's still the same, I never took it off. It's as if I didn't take it off. Make believe I didn't take it off. But if I really didn't take it off, the winds came and they took out the power in the bungalow colony. I didn't take it off. So why would there be an issue of chazara? So therefore, that's one big svara to be made. Even if I was wrong, even if I was wrong with my svara, the Alter Rebbe says you have to be machmir and not eat it till Motzei Shabbos. If everyone will say this chazara was awesome. Remember, the Alter Rebbe said the minhag ha'olam is to say when the Gemara said that there's 3 conditions for chazara, it's only when you took the pot off before lich benchen and you put it back off 25 minutes later. But on Shabbos itself, there's no conditions, there's no Tnoy Chazor. So because in the bungalow colony, the question that Bencha asked was talking about that.
What happens is the electricity too off that the whole thing down.
Let's get to one thing at a time. If the whole thing cooled down is another thing. But if it's 2-3 hours, it has to be the mamish. In order for it to get to the next shaila, the mamish cooled it down. If it was already cooked, and it's even if it's not yatzeh ledes boy, but it's warm, the pot, it would all be that there is no isa bishul and Shabbos b'chol. So number one, who says I need Tanoy Chazara? And even if I need Tanoy Chazara, there is an opinion that says that on Shabbos, if you took it off, you don't need Tanoy Chazara, and therefore there's no punishment to this person, so it's no problem. The shaila here is that here l'chol hateyis you need to have Tanoy Chazara. What happened was, the fire was turned off before lich benchen. He only realized when he came home from shul and his wife told it to him. So the fire was off 18 minutes before shkia. He only realized the problem, an hour and a half into the night. So it was when the fire went off, it was vaday yoim. When he realized the problem, it was vaday laila. So here's the shaila: the chol hadeyis must have tanoya kazora. In order to put back this pot, it has to be the same pot, it has to be in your hand, and it has to be daitel arze. He didn't have these 3 conditions. So l'chayda, now for him and his wife, it should be asur to eat this chulent until Motzei Shabbos b'chdei sheyasa. Obviously, that's not the issue. They don't want to have the chulent Motzei Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos minhag Yisrael is to have pizza, not chulent. So
make it long Shabbat.
Yeah. So therefore over here, I would say like this. If he had asked me if he could put it in the neighbor's blech, I would say no. But since he didn't ask a question if he should put it on the neighbor's blech, he came Shabbos, and between the last 2 kadeshim, he asked me a question if he could eat the chulent. That was his question. I told you many times, I'm not dealing with theoretical questions. Sunday morning, we talk about questions that are metzias. That's what he asked. He already put the chulent. He didn't ask me. He came and he said he already put the chulent Shabbos morning. He wants to know if he can go home and eat the chulent. So now I told him he could eat the chulent. Why? Because of 2 things. Number one, who says he needs Tnoy Chazora? Because it was accidental. Whoever turned off the fire was lavadite. He didn't turn off the fire. Probably his wife turned it. He thinks he didn't turn off the fire. So it could be that even that when we say when you turn it off, when you took it off b'shoigeg, that you need to know chazor, that's if you took the pot off. But if you turned off the fire, then you don't need any tnoy chazor. It could be such a svara. I know it's a slight svara, but there's another little svara that I have over here. There's a beautiful. I already a long time didn't mention anything from Barevna. As Rav Zilberstein, son-in-law of Rav Eliyashiv, has terrific books. The 2 of them were translated in English, called Barevna. Very, very. The name of the book is like the book. Very sweet. Barevna. please make Torah sweet to us. And Rabbi Zilberstein has this knack of his very sweet stuff. So he said there was a shaila that he asked his father-in-law. There was a woman that was making chulent every Erev Shabbos, Kaminik B'nai Yisrael, and she had a brood of boys. And Friday night after the meal, they didn't go to sleep. They'd sit around, whatever, they schmooze, they'd learn, they'd read magazines, whatever. They were up for many, many hours. No, after many hours go by, that the hungrig. So they would open up the chulent pot and they would eat up most of the chulent. And every Shabbos, she was so angry at the meal, she'd come and there's hardly any chulent left to serve. So when you take out so many chulent already, the rest gets, it's not the same when you have a full pot of chulent. She was very upset about it. But every week she told her kids not to touch the chulent. Not only the kids were taking the chulent, part of the problem was the husband was in on it too. He was also staying up late and he was also eating chulent with the kids.
You should make
So-
some
So she got very smart.
Yes.
The woman got very smart. Erev Shabbos, right before Lechbenchen, she took a big candle, a 7-hour candle, and she put it on top of the cover of the chulent pot. And so this is
make a
huh?
Make them.
Oh, so
Four shots.
before Shabbos. So now she didn't realize the muktzah shaila. She, in her mind, was it's also while the candle is burning, you can't pick up the cover of the pot, so they won't be able to pick up the cover of the pot. Okay, it worked. They didn't pick up the cover of the pot because they were nervous about the candle. You put a tea light. You easily you could be over the nice. So the kids were stealing his einzach, but to be over on a fire Shabbos, so they didn't eat the chulent. Next morning they said, "Mommy, your trick is very good. The shaila is, are we allowed to eat the chulent even for lunch?" The cover became a bosses l'davar also. You put the cover, and you put the candle on it. If you make something a bosses l'davar also, you're not allowed to do it Shabbos. So if you take a table and you put a candle on it, you're not allowed to move that table on Shabbos. That's why on Shabbos, when you set the table, you also put the challah usually or a bottle of wine before you light the candles because you don't want the Shabbos table to become a bosses l'davar also. So you put only one candle on the you put a candle on the cover of the pot. So now it's a bosses. It's also to eat the chulent altogether. So Rabbi Yasha said the husband came to ask him the shaila. So Rabbi Zilberstein said. So he was mekel, and he said the main nakud of the kula was that who does the chulent belong to? And it's not in modern society, but can't say it here in America. But Apidin Toida, the house belongs to the wife, and the pot belongs to. I'm sorry, the house belongs to the husband, and the pot belongs to the husband, and the beans belong to the husband, and the cover of the pot belongs to the husband. The din is ein adam oisadav she'eina shaloi. You can't ask. I can't put. If I put a candle on my table, I could make that the table is a muktzah and sabosas l'davar also. But I can't put a candle on your table and make it also. Now, if I put a candle on your table while the candle is burning, you can't move the table. You could be doing a oiva de'erais, and that's another issue. But when the candle finishes burning, you can move your table. I don't have the right to make your table a bosses and davar also. So Rav Zilberstein checked with his father-in-law. Rav Yasher said it's a good svara. She didn't have the husband. Why? Why? Because the husband was in it. The husband was with the kids. He was also raiding the chulent every Friday night. So if she would have asked him permission to put the candle on the pot, he would say loy mitan aleph. He would say no. I want to eat the chulent Friday night with the boys. So she did it against his will. So Sanish Gevara and Cain bosses. That's the story in the Varevna. The Varevna is always, like you wonder if every Shaila was exactly that way. But every Shaila in Varevna is one like this.
Rabbi, my mother, Aleh Shalom, to
One second. I just want to say the Maskana. So in our case, I would say number one, he doesn't think that he turned off the fire. So he didn't turn off the fire. He wanted the fire on, and even right. This is my first point. Number one, he didn't turn off the fire. He didn't want the fire to be turned off. And the main thing is that even though it's a little bit of shvacha svara, but could be over here. There is all the rules of chazara. When do we say that l'chol ha'adayis you have to have the three conditions of chazara? If I took the pot off the fire, even if it was accidental, now if I want to put it back, I have to have the three conditions. But I didn't take the pot off the fire accidentally. I turned off the fire. That's different. You don't need to have the tnoi chazara. Yeah.
I said my mother, Aliyah Shalom, put all the food on the blech till she has whole blanket. Use it only for that, covered everything. Nobody touch it. Nobody come close to it. The morning got the shoe, time to take it out, they had the food. So this was good answer for them. Instead of candle, if this lady called my mother, that they covered the whole thing.
But she could
And the candle so delicious. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the milk no. In Iraq. I don't know.
According to what you're
They
saying,
used to, but they had a fire underneath, like a small fire.
Yeah, no?
An old
Small
block.
fire, and you cover the whole thing. It's old. The blanket maybe is 20 years old. It's old, but she put it on the side and every Friday after you know, cover the whole thing. And you smell the chulent and the chicken. You know what I'm about.
according to what you're saying, the wife accidentally turned off the fire. She could also eat the child the next day? Because it sounds like you're saying that the husband who asked the question, he didn't turn off the fire, so he's not held accountable. The wife could also eat the child according to
Yeah.
that?
Or it's up to him. It's not.
Although,
But the other way,
says that if you do something b'shoveg when it's also we can't have the food till Moses Shabbos. So I'm just
See,
certainly, person that took off the pot for shogeg is the balafos of the pot. If it was someone else, not the balabais, right? Maybe it would be different because you don't have the right to take off my pot. You took my pot off the fire, and now I should have a problem.
wait. So the wife, and if the husband had taken off that
Then I wouldn't have this angle.
then it would be a different story.
It would be the
So we're truly distinguishing between, even though the wife would say ishtok ugufo, in this case, it really makes a difference.
in this case, the wife is
husband
happy.
did it.
Yeah, this case, the wife doesn't want to know the lumps. She just wants to eat the chunk.
I understand.
Okay.
so she can continue putting a candle every before Shabbos.
Okay. There is a question about a shul. It's relevant to us actually. So when you're building a shul, a lot of shuls, one for aesthetics or also for practical reasons, they build a shul in a way that the Aron Kodesh sticks out. Like because they'll build the wall on the outside in a way that
Box coming out.
right, you see a box coming out.
Yeah.
Why is that? Several reasons. First of all, sometimes it's for aesthetics, the outside of the shul. I think mostly shuls do it because of practical reasons.
Save a lot of room.
You save a lot of room, right? Because especially if you want to, I mean, here is a shtivel, let's say, or if you have a nice big room and it's symmetric and it's big and you want to have rows of chairs or rows of tables, the Aron Kodesh sticking out. So if the Aron Kodesh is like nice and thin like this, with the goes with the big deal. But if it's a big fancy Aron Kodesh, it eats up room from the actual shul. So I like to set it back a little bit, so it doesn't eat up so much of the floor space in the actual shul. And like I said, even aesthetically, sometimes you end up it's very nice aesthetically when you have, like, on the outside of the shul, oh, it looks like a shul. You see,
Scientific species, how safe is it? If somebody knows the Torah, they could just put this wall from the outside.
that's another question. That's not a halacha question. Usually, a lot of shuls today, they have in the Aron Kodesh is nice and wood and everything, but the inside it's a safe deposit box. And
The door is, the whole thing.
a lot of this is the whole thing is Rabbi Stein brought us he said this thing is all for it. So it's really a safe deposit box here. It's a heavy thing.
So it's really a safer Torah.
It's a safer Torah, yes.
Basically, the bottom line is
It's much safer.
Yeah.
they don't have a reason to do it. They just do it because it's practical reasons.
For practical reasons, they looks nice, yeah. So here's a letter from the Rebbe about this. Here's a letter from the Rebbe. The Rebbe writes to someone that was building a shul. משום שיני מינק ואם לא נעשה באופן דבליטס כאלה מבחוץ, הדאטה, הרי אין לחדש עניין זה. וכי ידוע עד כמה נזהר בדקדוק ביוסף מבלי לעשות שום משחק בעניין הבית הכנסת, אפילו בדברים קלים, אפילו אם לכאורה אין בזה חשש של השר. By the way, I want to go back. Let me finish this off. So, the Rebbe is saying like this. When the reform movement started, they weren't overnight. The people didn't go from being frum Jews to Rahman al-Islam to being kofer in the Torah. It's like Yetzirah is hayom omer la sekach, u'machar omer la sekach, ha'tcha omer lo yilech avodah zarah. The thing that the Chassam Sofer it bothered the Chassam Sofer, and I gave a shir about this once. I'm not gonna. Is that the in the Minig Yisrael Torah was that the Chazan goes, he's yoyed looking at Torah, he goes, and in the church, there was like the bima, which is more towards the front, that was like the focal point of the church. The first Reformed temples that were built in a way that that they wanted to copy the temples. They wanted to look like a church. So they built the temples that way, and they had like the bima towards the Aron Kodesh, and the Chazan would go over to daven by the bima.
Say the Chazan-based congregation.
No, not necessarily, but they put the bima close to the Aron Kodesh, and instead of having the Chazan walk over here to the Stender, they would have the Chazan go over to the bima, and the bima was like in the front of the shul on the stage. Every reform shul today is that way. Some Sefer made a big deal out of it. He said, no, the bima has to be in the middle of the Beis HaKnesses, and he brought ayahs. But the real thing that bothered the Chassam Sofer is brought an ayah from the Beis HaMikdash. We gave a share about this many years ago. But bottom line is, what was really bothering the Chassam Sofer was, he worked overtime to find that ayah that you must have the bima in the middle of the shul. But the brilliance of the Chassam Sofer is that if he squeeze a rock, you get water out of the rock. So he was able to prove that the bima has to be in the middle of the shul. But what was really bothering the Chassam Sofer is he was very worried that if you start making new things to a shul, one thing will lead to the next, and the results could be a catastrophe. And that's true. That's what happened with the reform. They said in the beginning, we're just making this little change and this little change and the other little change. And Rahman al-Islam, today you have, most Reform temples are a little confused right now. As we're talking, they're a little confused about the conflict in the Middle East, who is right and who is in the wrong. Amish like that. They're not sure. They're not sure who are doing atrocities. Are the the IDF or the Hamas? They're not sure. They're trying to. Kamala Harris will, Amitzah Hashem, clarify it for them because she's very smart and she'll make it clear to them. The violent, they're confused.
She already did with the husband.
Exactly.
So she's a babe, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if he has a say in the house.
No, it's pathetic.
Huh?
It's more pathetic.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
He really told them these Israelis would be looking at lots of gods.
Right.
And we know, and we
So they know the answer.
They reform have taken that side.
Unbelievable. It's sad. It's sad. But it started with that little changes they made in the shuls. The Rebbe says,
well, the changes before that. One reform the service.
There was. But the thing that
there are two sets of reform Jews. One came from Germany, and the one here started in Charleston, South Carolina, by the Sephardic Jews, not by the German Jews. The one who formed the whole service, shortened the service. It
was very big influence from German Jews on what was going on in America.
It started with Sephardic Jews.
My understanding was it was very strong influence of the German Jews were here.
German Jews never started. It started by 1820, 22 in South Carolina, because that was the largest Jewish community in America at that time.
What kind of things did they reform in the shul?
Well, service at that point was like 5 hours. They want to shorten it. All right. Sephardic custom, you go up and you pledge some stuff during the week. They wanted to tell you that. They want to have the sermon in English rather than Spanish.
Oh,
But the transportation, we put over the car.
No, they didn't have cars in 1820. Wasn't that? They had nothing to do with cars. The issue with the cars came after World War II.
Out there,
in Charleston, yeah, there was a spot. Where?
No, in 1820.
Well, where was it? You said in
Charleston,
Charleston.
South Carolina. That's where the culture started here.
I hear.
Germany was a few years earlier, but it had nothing to do with the German Jews.
I hear. I have.
Jews that come to America until the 1840s.
Fascinating to me. I'm going to glean that after this year. I'll try to read about it. Okay. Bottom line. So the Rebbe, that's why the Rebbe said, if it's in a city where it's in vogue, there are frum shuls that are doing it, do it. But if there are no frum shuls that are doing it, don't do it. I think here in New York, there's a lot of frum shuls that actually do it. It's a lot of frum shuls. Yeah,
I've seen it.
you've seen it, right? Yeah. That they build the shul in a way that the Aron Kodesh is sticking out of the building.
Yeah, I've seen it out of town. Yes.
Yeah.
See it now. So
Okay, look, so
that basically, as you said, it's not religious reason. It's
right.
more practical for architect. Here's more room. And you want to have an even flow of the seats.
Right. So fine. So then it's good. Then it's good. Okay. Then it's good. I want to say one more question. The time is mamish 5 minutes. I don't know if we'll get to it. So yeah. Okay, sure. There is someone this week asked me a shaila, and it was a shgacha pratis. That's to do with a thing from the Shagas Arya, and it was the day of the Shagas Arya's yortzeit. It's not so clear when it was yortzeit. He passed away on Tezvav Tammuz or Chafei Tammuz. But the thing is that most people say he passed away on Chafei Tammuz in Tov Kuf Memhei, 1785. So what happened? The Shagas Arya was probably one of the most brilliant human beings that ever walked the face of this earth, as far as us Jews are concerned. I mean, Chochma Bagoyim, it's hard for us to say, but as far as Jewish scholars, to Ad Hayoim, every bar mitzvah boy that says a shtickle Torah at his bar mitzvah, I would say 7 out of 10 bar mitzvah shetlach is based on a Shagas Arya, and the other 3 are most likely Rebbe Akiva Eigen. That's just the way it goes. Considered, he passed away. He was 97 years old. There was a story about the Shagas Arya. He was so sharp, but they said that he looked like a lion. He had like a big head, and his hair was like the David Ben Gurion hairstyle. His hair was like. And he didn't comb his hair in the morning, and because his head was elsewhere. He was once in and he was Noida. They said the way he looked was like Noida ve'oya. He was a fierce guy. He was we know the Shagas Arya. He was a Rav of the city of Aloshin, but he couldn't last there because there's no diplomacy with the Shagas Arya. So at the end, he came to the city of Metz in Germany, and they asked him, "Did you want to become rabbi?" He said, "Yeah, I'm looking for a position." They said he was at that time. He was already almost 80 years old. They said, "You're 80-year-old man. We were looking for a rabbi that could lead our community for a few years." He said, "You know what? Deal. 20 years I'm giving you for sure." Ooh. And that's what happened, Taka. He was at Rav there for 20 years. So they took him as a Rav. That was his final station. So once he was in Germany, in Metz, and he asked the wagon driver to take him somewhere to another city. So in the morning, he was wearing his talis and film, and he took a Gemara with him. He got into the wagon, and he was learning Gemara. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the road, they got attacked by a group of bandits. They stopped the wagon. They couldn't go. They were holding swords in their hand, and they demanded that the wagon driver stopped. And they wanted to know what's in the wagon. Shagas Arya is learning Gemara, and he sees that the wagon stopped. Got all. Shagas Arya was like, he was in a hurry. What's going on? So he opened up the window in the wagon to look, and he put his head out. and the bandits all ran away. When they saw him, when they saw like the aim of a fachad of the Shagas Arya, they all ran away. It's unbelievable. The one of the funny stories that is about Shagas Arya. He lived such a simple life. When he came to Metz, so when he was installed as a rabbi, so they made like a Kabbalah's ponim. So they bought him a house, and this German Jews, even though it's 300 years ago, but so they asked that the Rebbetzin should make a reception for the Choshev Balabatim that day that the rabbi is being installed as the rabbi. And but they were so poor, they came from Volozhin, they had nothing. So the Kehillah told the Rebbetzin, don't worry. They gave her money, and they told her she should buy coffee and milk and sugar, and she said, okay, sure. She prepared the table, she got a tablecloth she bought, she got cups, she went out in the marketplace, she bought cups, she boiled the coffee, she poured everyone a cup of coffee, and but the coffee is bitter. There's no sugar. Okay, sure. Some people like coffee with sugar, but the Shagas Arya came out and he gave it Dvar Torah, and everyone loved it. When he finished his Dvar Torah, the Rebbetzin came out with a tray with a dish with sugar inside. She put it on the table. She didn't know that you're supposed to mix the sugar with the coffee. She knew that there's coffee and there's sugar. She didn't know what's the connection of sugar and coffee. Dessert. So dessert, she brought a plate of sugar with a spoon, and she put it on the table because they gave her enough money. They told her coffee is sugar. So for dessert, she brought the sugar out. Anyway, that's the story. So Shagas Arya had like this. So this was the question someone asked me. Shiloh was like this. It was my brother. I'm alone with my brother every day, and I come and I see he's eating a lahit. A lahit is like an Israeli chocolate. There's a company, and it's like it's a really fancy chocolate, and a piece of cheese. So he told me. I said, "Well, bracha." So what it is by asking. Apparently, you never ate a lahit. So you and the wife of the Shagas Arya are in good company. So
Not bad.
not bad. So
But I don't put sugar in those coffee.
so that you know, but how much sugar goes in the lahit you don't know.
No.
That's a secret.
No.
So the lahit is really it's a chocolate, but what it's sort of a little bit of a wafer, but the wafer part of it is minuscule, and it has the wafer part of it gives it a crunch, but there's more chocolate than wafer in it. And there is, there's a little bit of soft chocolate on the inside, and a little bit so hard on the outside. It's a really good thing. It's an Israeli invention, right? The wafer like puts it together. It's really there's minim and minim shinim within the lahit, but the bottom line is it's a very popular snack. So he's eating a piece of cheese and a lahit. So I asked him what bracha you make. So he said, well, I picked up the lahit, and the lahit I made שהכל, and I had in mind also the piece of the cheese. So I said, well, come on, שהכל on the lahit. The lahit should be a b'odah min hamazonos, because it's kol sheyesh bo mechameshes min dogim avarchim lo b'odah min hamazonos. So the lahit should be a mazonos. How can you make a שהכל on the lahit? There's no question that the lahit is a mazonos. So he said, well, what should I do now? Because I already made a שהכל. And usually if you make a שהכל, well, the thing here is that it's a little bit different, because here it's a little different, because if you would pick up alahit and make שהכל, you'd be yoitzel. And if you picked up a lahit and you made שהכל, you also have a piece of cheese on the table, you could easily say that the שהכל will go on the piece of cheese. So it wouldn't be a bracha l'batola. And now you can make a mazonos in the lahit. So this was the question what to do. Let's turn the page. I'll read it very quickly.
But the cheese was hide inside the lahit.
No. It was a piece of cheese and the lahit.
And this video that you already made.
That the question was what to do, yeah.
Wait for 30 degrees. Very small. Yeah.
First of all, it's not so small. It's not so minuscule. Okay, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not so minuscule. I mean, if you had the other wafers, a chocolate-covered wafer that cost 10 cents or 7 cents, most of it is a wafer. The lahit is... Yeah, mezainis. It's 100% mezainis.
All right. Now, here it is.
I don't know if maybe 50-50. Maybe even less. It's 100% mezainis. I'm not asking a question. It's mezainis. So the Shagas Ayas writes like this. Oil upon priya eitz, upedus ilan. Ubedach al pedus ilan by the priya doma. He has in front of him on the table an apple and a banana. Oil upon pedus eitz, upedus ilan. He had an apple, a banana on the table. Ubedach al pedus ilan by the priya doma. Im yotze de chaybes bracha shabayre priyadama nami loy. He made bayre priyadama. So if you had just an apple, you made bayre priyadama, you're yotzim. But now you have an apple and a banana. So he brings an ayah from Rashi that you have to make another bracha bayre priya eitz on the apple. The Taimali alabay said Rabbi Yosef shekosav sham b'shulchan aruch hoy lefana pedus adama pedus eitz a berach al pri ha adama v'neskavan lifter. As Priya eitz yotza. Shulchan Aruch, he argues in the Shulchan Aruch. How could the Shulchan Aruch say that if a person has an apple and a banana and he made the bracha by the Priya Dama and he had in mind also the apple that is yotza? It's a long simon, a simach of Zayin. We don't have the time to learn it. Bottom line is that the Alter Rebbe never saw the Shagas Ayah. Alter Rebbe also, it's like interesting, like trends of Gdolei Yisrael. The Alter Rebbe thought of the same thing. Also realized that it's not so poshut, and he brings a Shulchan Aruch. And the Alter Rebbe says also, "V'yesh chilkim hazeh v'emnim shafila neskaven lifter beberches b'yde pri adama es pri eitz hamunach lefonav." Even though he made a b'yde pri adam on the banana, and he had in mind also the apple. Lo yotz tzarich lachzer leborach b'yde pri eitz. Lo yom rishon b'yde pri eitz al pri eitz b'yde pri adam yotz el diop. She'ef shlataken v'lachzer leborach keroi. Brachim yechedes loy shim kain tia berches by the priadama levatol avok sheina levatol is a katchila betzorach levorach tiknos ram levikas lamais tzorach lezor shalol liskaven loylom lifte priya is a berches by the priadama kedei levorach livra koil. Let me explain. I'll tell you like this. If you took an apple in your hand and you made by the priadama, you're yoitz. Why? Because you didn't lie. Everything comes from the ground. What doesn't? It doesn't grow on the trees. I mean, it doesn't grow. I'm sorry, it doesn't grow on the shelves in the fruit store. So everything comes from the Adam and the Mishnah. So therefore, you're yoitz. But if you had an apple and a banana, and you picked up a banana and you said B'yde Pri Adam, and you had in mind also the apple, what do you have to lose? Eat the banana, and then make a B'yde Pri Eitz on the apple. You didn't lose anything. You didn't lose anything. You had in mind otherwise. You had in mind that it's for both. Okay. But there's no bracha levatala. There's no bracha levatala here. Again, you have an apple on the table, a banana in your hand, and you made B'yde Pri Adama, and you had in mind for the banana and the apple. So what's the big deal? Eat the banana, and then make a B'yde Pri Eitz on the apple. And what's the big deal? And you're supposed to make a bracha B'yde Pri Eitz on an apple. So the Alter Rebbe says, is saying, when did right? So when did we say that when you if you have just an apple, you made B'yde Pri Adama, if I'm going to tell you not to make a eitz, what's going to happen? So the B'yde Pri Adama bracha went levatola. But now that you have in front of you a banana and an apple, so what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Eat the banana, and you made Adama, there's no bracha levatoli, and then make a B'yde Pri Eitz on the apple. That's the spot of the Alter Rebbe. So what's the big deal? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Huh?
According to the way you said it originally, you don't have you had in mind on
right. Right? So that's what the Shulchan Aruch holds. So the Alter Rebbe is passing like the Shagas Arya, and he's explaining the reason. Again, that if you had an apple in your hand and you made a B'yde Pri Adam on the apple, we say yoitza because listen, you didn't lie, and otherwise this bracha is going to end up being a bracha l'matola. We don't want Hashem's name to go in vain. But if you have an apple and a banana, and you picked up the banana and you made Beit Pri Adama, but you had in mind also the apple, so what's the big deal? You'll eat the banana. It's not going to be a bracha levatala. And then you'll make a eitz on the apple. So it's not so gefährlich. What's the big deal? Now, according to the Alter Rebbe's logic, you could probably say that the same thing will apply if he had an apple and banana and it was reversed. He held the apple in his hand and he said, Beit Pri Adama, and he bit a piece of the apple. Okay, but still I could still say, look, there's no bracha levatala. Now you're going to eat the banana, and the Beit Pri Adama went on the banana, and on the apple you make Beit Pri Eitz, according to the Alter Rebbe's logic. But the Tzemach Tzedek has a very different logic of why he agrees to the Shagas Arya. Let's read it quickly. The Gamma Tzemach Tzedek pasuk Shagas Arya. Svar is a dava kosher yishlema the k'moshe dava she'eni choshev eni poiter es choshev k'moikein hod beirech haberetz ilan beirech pri adama yotze zok sheneskam lavorach apia ilan mamash. Oz a brocha chashuva sheneskam lavorach la mamash al kein poiter af she'eni brocha mechedes lavo. Kshebeirech latznoin kein brocha zu eni chashuva lagabe azay she'eloi beirech la mamash kein bo la poiter derech gerora lachem brocha zu eni preteres klal ela shebrocha mechedes lavo. So what he's saying, Tzemach Tzedek is saying is that if you said on an apple, Beit Pri Adama, that becomes a choshev bracha because you made it on the apple. But when you made the bracha, Beit Pri Adama on the banana, so it's not a choshev. Beit Pri Adama is a less choshev bracha, so it can't pick up something else. But if you really held the apple in your hand, then someone will say, well, okay, but you held the apple in your hand, so then you made on it Beit Pri Adama. So what do you mean? You are yotzim. So in our case, I think it would be totally in the machlokes between the Alter Rebbe and the Tzemach Tzedek. And the bottom line is, according to the Alter Rebbe, you're not going to end up with a bracha levatala because what's the big deal? You have a piece of cheese and you can eat the cheese, and the שהכל that you made on the lahit will go on the cheese. But so make just now mezainis on the lahit. But according to the Tzemach Tzedek, the problem in the apple, the banana was because the banana was in your hand. But had you had the apple in your hand, that would be considered a bracha meshuva. When you have the lahit in your hand, you make שהכל in it. That's a bracha meshuva. So what was the resolution was like this. My brother needed to make a phone call, so I told him, look, you're going to go out to the building. The din is if you eat less than a kazayas of a cake and you go out of the house, you have to make a bracha again. The bracha is bottled. And the same thing, Lagabi, anything with a שהכל. If you walk out of the house and you come back, you have to make again a bracha. Your bracha is bottled. So anyway, one second. You have to make a phone call. Not stamazo, you're walking out. You have to make a phone call. Say you had a coffee, and then your cell phone rings, and you're going out on the porch to take a phone call. When you come back, you have to make a new שהכל b'dvarim. 1 second. So you have to make another שהכל. Doesn't matter how long. So the eitzah was that because he ate less than a kazayis, and the other thing was also שהכל. So walk out, make your phone call that you need to make. You come back, your bracha, you have to make all the bracha again. So then you'll make the right bracha. You'll make a boida min mezainas first on the lahit, and then you'll make a שהכל b'dvarim on the cheese, and hakal mekoymai yavid b'shalom. The Shagas Arya, when he passed away, he was 97 years old. He was strong. He went over to a bookcase, and this is a favorite story. My favorite story. He walked over to the bookcase, and to take a sefer. Accidentally, the whole bookcase went flying. And can you imagine? He's a 97-year-old man. And he fell on the ground, and the whole bookcase fell on him with all the svarim all over him. So people rushed over. They picked over the bookcase and they took all the books. But he was badly injured. And when they finally picked him up from the ground, he smiled. And he said, my whole life, I argued with every sefer, I argued with everyone.
They got victims.
So now, at the end of my life, he said they all got back to me. He said, when I was under the pile of svarim, I asked mechila by everyone, and they all were meichel me. Besides one captain, one guy, there was the Mordechai Yoffe, the author of the Lavush. He wasn't meichel me, so he says, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go up to heaven to talk to him personally. That's what happened. It's funny. I'm saying, like if a person Chas v'Shalom today has an injury or falls, the floor was crooked, the bookcase wasn't screwed in, like the perspective of a person who learns Torah, who believes in the Eibishter. When the bookcase fell on him, he didn't say, the bookcase wasn't screwed into the wall, this, that. In his mind, the Sforim ganged up on him, and he asked Mechila by all the Sforim, and that was how Shagasari was nifter. David shall helfen, when Beina Mitzorim, David shall helfen that these days should turn in l'sasim l'simcha l'yomim tovim.
Who wash?
I'm not too sure. Something at a time.
Wash? No.
Electric light. What you phone?
Where's the
time? Then you actually close at 6 o'clock in the morning.
מה המכונים חובה?
6 hours. Open sure. So you gotta walk next. Oh, yeah, that's that. So much too. Special. Sam, it's question go to the oil. It's a good question. That's this part of what we're discussing. As for not to give I don't want to throw this. I know that. I appreciate that. I have definitely because it's really related to what we said. Yeah. They have this little site. Orange in the store. Not here anymore. So what happened if you have a water house? Again. We'll put the nights and goes back on just out of the way.
אין שם אדוני מברך בעדת העולם.
Think about that. So why not that? Give that.
ברוך אלוהינו שהפענו משולוב ברוך חיינו.
Case would be worse than our case. I know. It's like this case, my wife's an area. Right, here's an area that could be worse. If it's all from a hour, what they do, it comes cold, especially water. Water becomes cold. Right, so you're looking at again a Shabbos. Water's it's cold. Then you put it on the fire. People have been sitting here, they're getting to the person boils a pot of water. And then while the pot boils out, puts it on the fire in a Shabbos. That's not called cooking. You're not supposed to do it. Well, like what's up to the pot? At one time. They want to stove fire. So those things you had to last 12 hours. Water, and no one had that water side. Right. Today they have this program gallons like a compost. Yeah, it's a very nice invention. But you have to. But your question that you asked was a person that puts some timers. So the problem of the is before it gets cold, it becomes room temp. Well, you can have it for 1 or maybe 2 hours, something like that. So,
right. So that could be. Yeah, you could take this in the shame. It's fine.
Where's some anyone wants German? 9 days coming.
18, 12, 15, 14, 17. Wow. I'm totally familiar with that. Charles words are all this you know that how it's not trying to see what if you have a point it is before line. We had one of those going off here. Charleston, I think it's with Virginia, it's a battle then. Savannah still had that shoulder. That's from Israel. And when they rebuilt it, they hired an architect who specialized in Israel. Savannah. So they built it, so they hired an architect and they had a building house of worship. So you had the Salems and the window. So they get set up. And the ceiling lights have set up shaping the signals. They still have the organ, but they have some artifacts that the original party put over that then predate the conditioner. Children books. I was there, but it was in COVID, so they had the short push out. But I always see the short one. It's very interesting. It's how you have to Orthodox music. Orthodox never most creative here. From my understanding, so nothing. I actually should do Boston family. Show my license. What's your name? Warwick, where do you live? On the other side.
Oh yeah? The sound you brought photos with you? Huh? No. Well, if you want to go on our email list, you'll get the Dvartoras sent out. You get from that? You get our Dvartoras? Did I put you on the list? You get every list? Okay.
I don't from Montreal.
Who do you know from Montreal? Oh, the Tzaddik. You're fortunate to know Rabbi Baskino.
I don't know if it's on you.
Why shouldn't he be a rabbi?
I don't know if Peter.
Okay, mister.
Anyway,
Reverend Rosen.
no, it came here, this.
I didn't know that.
I know if he's on
Service
the
still
list.
They shortened it.
Then it evolved in the German exchange and the border was that
Very interesting.
20, over 100 years ago, they had, in fact, they wrote a book about it.
What was the name of the congregation in Charleston?
That I don't have, it's.
If you know it, they'll tell Nasanel will tell it.
They basically split.
Yeah, very
So
interesting.
they had to reunite because one of their.
Is there still a congregation in Charleston that goes back to that congregation? I mean, there's a Jewish community. Huh?
That's not,
It's not the same building.
building.
It's the same like in Philadelphia. They're not the original building. Philadelphia was one of the first shuls, but they're not the original building.
That's the part of show here. It's different. It was a different buildings too. but
Right.
that's-
The only one that's still the first building is
Rhode Island.
in Rhode Island, right?
What do you ask you?
I took it to Truro.
They go to the.
Turo.
Take a shower before going to Mitchell's. 9 days. You not allowed to take a shower? Or what's this?
It comes down to this. No, you're not allowed to. I'll be there. However, it's only if you're doing it for pleasure.
These original building going back to 17th.
But if you feel that you're filthy, that your body has sweat on it, today, people are very particular about it.
Let's walk back.
Then it's mutter.
Because
And
I
that's
had
factory
to
to say.
over.
I think.
Thank you for joining us.
So what does
Okay.
the